Assalamualaikum to Dr. Dazimin. Before I start, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Afika Alia Betty Zainuddin.
My name is Nur Izabalkis binti Sukri.
Hello, my name is Nur Rahim bin Nasir.
My name is Nurayah binti Muhammad Zulai and I am from AM 114B. Today, I would like to present the importance of multilateral trade agreement in Asean country.
For the introduction, multilateral trade agreement is commerce treaties between various nations or more than 3 nations. If they are below than 3 nations, we call as bilateral trade agreement. They has advantage and disadvantage of making this multilateral trade agreement. But if there has a various nation making this multilateral trade agreement, it will give more benefits such as reduce tariff and make it easier for business to import and export goods and services. One of the importance of creating multilateral agreement is it can strengthen the global economy by making developing countries competitive. So first, is multilateral agreement is a international agreement that involve of 3 or more parties such as GATT, which stand of General Agreement, Trade of Tariff, where it's seeking to promote trade liberalization through multilateral negotiation. So second, international trade will tend to grow faster, increase productivity, and give many opportunities to citizens. So China and United States is the highest ranking in total international trade of goods and services. For example, is China. China has experienced the extreme poverty in a huge rate in 1992 to 2009. But the extreme poverty has fallen from 69 to 12% because of this trade agreement, and the gross domestic product also has grown more than 8% in a year. Furthermore, it helped to increase the economic growth rapidly and reduce the poverty. It can be seen between US trade and China in 1979, where at first they signed a bilateral agreement, and in that time we can see the economic growth of these 2 nations become increased day by day. AFTA stands for ASEAN Free Trade Area. Is one of the agreement zones that generate trade as high-cost domestic producer. The main goal of formation of AFTA is to develop ASEAN competitiveness as a production base in the world market through tariff exception and non-tariff barriers. The establishment of AFTA will attract more foreign direct investment to ASEAN and it will contribute to economic growth for ASEAN countries.
My point is multilateral trading can reduce tariff and make the business easier for import and export. So my first point is the countries can negotiate trade deal with more than one country at a time. For the example is Lao People Democratic Republic Lao PDR, Thailand and Malaysia. Malaysia purchases power from Lao PDR with a predefined set of terms regarding price and quantity, while Thailand acts as the transit. It is because Thailand is the largest electricity market for Laos. The second one is the Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Asean Growth Area, BIMPAAGA. This agreement is for accelerate economic development in areas that are geographically distant from their national capital but in strategic proximity to each other. This area has a huge potential for improvement in trade, investment and tourism. The last one is the ASEAN Hong Kong China Free Trade Agreement AFTA. This agreement involves Hong Kong and 5 ASEAN member states which are Lao PDR, Myanmar, Singapore, Thailand and Vietnam. One of the examples is Brunei Darussalam, Malaysia, Philippines and Thailand will abolish the custom duty for 85% of product trade with Hong Kong within 10 years and reduce another 10% of tariff within 14 years. It shows that all multilateral trading agreements make a process of trading easier because of cooperation of many countries to gain development of economy.
Okay, so we move to the next important of multilateral trading agreement, which is create a standardization among the country members. So what is standardization? According to Michel Grant, standardization is a framework of agreements to which all relevant parties in an industry or organization must adhere to ensure that all processes associated with the creation of a good or performance of a service are performed within set guidelines. This ensures that the end product has consistent quality and that any conclusion made are comparable with all other equivalent items in the same class. The implementation of the Asean Economic Community or AEC in 2015 with a goal to promote regional convergence in Southeast Asia has been one of the main goals of ASEAN. The adoption of trade facilitation initiatives are important, among which is the reduction and removal of technological barriers to trade or TBT is crucial to achieving this aim, as the priorities in legislation, requirements and compliance evaluation mechanisms obstruct the flow of product from one country to another within the area. These policies are often enforced to the degree that they serve as barriers to trade by limiting or absolutely banning the flow of such goods from one country to another. In order to do a standardization, several implementation has been implemented, such as product specification describes their features, including weight, architecture, shape, size and performance, labeling and packaging types. This is often wiped out in order to assist customers within the importing country. Such requirements are being implemented by regional governments. Regulation also are placed in motion to facilitate technological harmonization so as to confirm the standard of product imported. ASEAN has a policy guidance on standards and conformity with the goal of directing ASEAN bodies working in the field of standards and complying with the objective of promoting the accelerated convergence of priority sectors by 2010 and the adoption of the AEC by 2020. As ASEAN's priorities change as it builds its economic structure, it is important that all working groups and committees adjust and respond to evolving conditions in order to ensure the free flow of trade and the integrity of AFTA.
My point is, it can increase profit of ASEAN country. Trading is the biggest economic contributor in ASEAN country. ASEAN country really depend on each other to get more profit, and they have their own interests, especially during trading when do the regional cooperation. ASEAN country can gain their income from tourism sector. It because in ASEAN country have many interesting place. Big contributor in gross domestic profit is tourism sector. The reason why ASEAN country become tourist attraction, which is their food, beach, cultural wealth and many others. ASEAN really needs stability in tourism. For example, that can be seen according KDNK, Malaysia have successful recorded the arrival tourist 2.4% and get RM86.4 billion on 2019. It can be seen that when ASEAN do the tourism sector, they can get more profit year by year. Next, visa exemption is the policy that has been made by the ASEAN. It called as a e-visa that can be used for ASEAN tourists and certain ASEAN tourists. There are differences about the visa exemption that can be used when travelling for ASEAN tourists and for other tourist countries. Malaysia has the visa exemption toward the ASEAN tourists, which can travel to Malaysia without visa and use the passport in 30 days, while India and China tourists can travel in Malaysia only 15 days and cannot be extended. It can be seen when ASEAN do this policy, it can attract more tourists come to our country. Also, ASEAN country. In conclusion, it can be seen that every ASEAN country has their own ability and speciality based on the ASEAN motto, which is one vision, one identity and one community, so that ASEAN will grow by pace. Thank you.
So, as a conclusion, multilateral trade agreements are different from bilateral trade agreements. It can be seen from how many countries in that agreement. Multi-trade agreement consists of various nations or more than 3 nations, and bilateral trade agreement is the agreement made between 2 nations. granting them trading status with each other. Multilateral trade agreements have an important role in boosting regional economies. Countries that are involved with international trade will tend to grow faster, increase productivity, and give many opportunities to their citizens and make the developing country competitive. For an organization structured the way the ASEAN Secretariat is, it is imperative to make full use of all the resources at hand. All in all, ASEAN countries should work together to develop the regional economy.